Hey, Big Spenders. It's another Tuesday, and it is snowy and cold. At least it is here. Um, some of you are also dealing with this. Um, and by dealing with this, in my case, I mean sitting at home and reading and writing, and um, I haven't started my third rewatch of Heated Rivalry yet, but that might be coming. I'm suddenly a hockey fan. Okay. Oh, I always try to keep this somewhat travel related, but man, I have nothing travel related really to talk about today. It's winter. Country's kind of on fire or snowed in. We are a land of fire and ice, I guess. Been in the house a long time. I was supposed to get a massage today. My massage therapist and I both decided that maybe not. Uh, yeah. Um, it's too cold. It's too nasty. It'll be better tomorrow. So, I was just talking to one of my friend Jonathan, who I speak of fairly often. He lives on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And we met at Solid Sound Festival, for which is Wilco's every other year music festival. Um, we met there in 2019 and became fast friends. And anyway, last year in May, first weekend in May, um, actually it was last week of April, first week of May, I made a pretty epic road trip down to New Orleans. The primary excuse being that Jonathan and I had tickets to see Wilco on May 3rd, which was fantastic. Had a great time. And Wilco just announced today that they are, they just announced some tour dates for May, April and May. That includes a run in Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, I believe, and then 2 nights in New Orleans. And I'm betting one of those New Orleans dates is probably Jazz Fest because it's the first weekend of Jazz Fest. The show that we saw last year was the second to last night of Jazz Fest, but it wasn't at Jazz Fest. So I'm looking at that calendar and I'm thinking, they're going to play Jazz Fest and then they're going to do a standalone show, I bet. And my brain starts, how can I go? How can I go? It's like, oh, I can't. I'm going to be following the Afghan Wigs that week. Oops. I'm going to be up in New England. I wrote about this last week. I'm excited. Because it feels like a return to something normal. Um, Being able to follow a band, go to a bunch of shows. So let's throw another band in. I can't. I was seriously, for like a nanosecond, I was talking to Jonathan. It's like, okay, so these are the nights I'm going to be in Woodstock and Boston for the Afghan Wigs. I could technically fly from Boston down to Jackson. I could do Jackson, Alabama, New Orleans. He's like, that's a lot. Like, yeah, that's a lot. It's not happening. But yeah, I guess I can't remember. Days run together like crazy right now. Wow. I can't remember how much I talked about this last week. But I'm excited, so I'm going to talk about it some more. I have planned my first great adventure for 2026. Actually, it's my second. Well, Solid Sound is this year, so that's one. And then last week, my beloved Afghan Wigs announced dates for their 40th anniversary tour. We are all old. Um, and I mean, this is a band that I've been a fan since the mid 90s. And we were just wee pups. And for many years, every opportunity I had to see them live, failed. So I did not get to see them in concert until 2 years ago. 2 years ago. They did a brief tour with the church. It was co-headlining, so it was a little abbreviated. It was only a 1 hour set, but I went to opening night, which was in Philadelphia, and then but the next day in Philly, and it was too hot to do anything. And then I took the train to Brooklyn, or to New York. Train station's in Manhattan, Penn Station. But then crossed over to Brooklyn and saw them at the Brooklyn Paramount, and then took the train the next day up to Boston. And I was supposed to see them in Boston, and I didn't. I was really struggling with the vestibular migraines, not knowing the severity of them at that point, which, yeah, but at the end of their set, the night in Brooklyn, I had had such a good time, and I was feeling it, in a bad way. I was, I got bailed on my friend Beth. She was gonna say, I'm gonna get the car and bring it around and I'll give you a ride back to your hotel. No, I don't want to throw up in your car. I'd rather throw up in an Uber. Sorry, bye. Uh, and I wound up, the only time I've ever done this, I, wound up going, and this, it's not a, oh my God, look at me, ugh. It's a, oh my God, this is how bad I am at asking for help. I'm trying to not throw up, pass out, clearly having a medical incident, and asked an usher, can I have a chair? Can I sit down for a minute? And she called a medic, and they got me some water, and I sat there, and the medic, I mean, I'm sure they thought I was probably just really drunk or high. I was neither. I had had water to drink that day, and that was it. And I don't generally partake in cannabis when I'm traveling, especially solo. That's a that's an at-home activity. Uh, but yeah, and the medic was taking so long. It's like I know the best thing for me is I just need to get back to my hotel, eat something, drink some water, be in the dark, in turn the AC down to like 63 degrees. And so I slipped out when the medic was uh, otherwise occupied, caught my Uber and left, and I was fine. But then the next day, I took the train to Boston, which was a 4 hour ride, jam packed train, where I wound up essentially babysitting somebody's obnoxious tween. It was not fun, and it was hot. And I got to Boston, and because I don't follow sports except hockey now, and the league I follow is imaginary, but we won't talk about that. Um, so I get to Boston, and the train station, we came in on the bottom level, and I go upstairs, and it's just this sea of people in green who are way too drunk for a Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, Apparently, the Boston Celtics had won the NBA championship, and the parade had just ended. In retrospect, I sat down and people watched for a little bit, but I felt like shit. I just wanted to get to my place. And I wanted a goddamn coffee in the worst way. Um, and if I'd been thinking, there was a Dunkin' in the train station because it's Boston, of course. I should have just grabbed an iced coffee and sat there and done the most Boston thing possible, for my first time in Boston. I sat there and had my Dunkin' coffee and watched a bunch of drunk Celtics fans. Yeah, that would have been fun, but I wanted to get out, so I caught a ride and went to my place and promptly started throwing up. So I skipped the shows that night. Now, because I have been doing my exercises and my physical therapy, and I'm for my migraines, and things are improving. I'm starting to feel some changes. It's very slow and very gradual, but the exercises are getting easier, which means my brain is rewiring the way it's supposed to through this therapy, and I'm so happy. Oh my God. Don't even. It's like I'm going to have my life back, and I'm so excited. So, and these Afghan Wig shows were announced last week. And I know I wrote about this. So I don't care. I basically, it's like, oh, I'm going. I'm going to go a bunch. And um, it worked out with some creative financing. And a lot of tenacity during the pre-sales. I'm going to see them on their opening night, which is in Woodstock. I haven't been to Woodstock since 2013. I did a week-long writing residency and for the Woody book, and that's actually where the end of the Woody book. That's where the Woody book ends, is in Woodstock, and down the road in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Found the ending of my book while I was there, and wrote it. Wrote the first draft of it. So I loved being in Woodstock, even in the dead of winter, and I've always wanted to go back and just haven't. But they're opening their tour at Bearsville Theater in Woodstock, which is like a less than 500 people venue. It's tiny. I was like, that's gonna be a fun show. So I'm going to that. Some of my friends that I've met, my fellow fans, um, that I'm friends with, are going to be there. So that's going to be a good night. Then there's a day off, and on that day off, I'm going to drive to Boston, and we're going to redo Boston. This time, we're going to be able to actually see some stuff, see some friends, and go to the show. And then I've got a couple of days off, or a week off, something like that. And then I'm going to Cincinnati, which is the band's hometown. Love hometown shows. They're always special. They're always a lot of fun. And I haven't been, the last time I went to Cincinnati, I was pregnant with CJ. So 2003, I was a bridesmaid. And oh my God. Oh my God. She was such a bridezilla. She was getting married in the Dominican Republic at a resort, and there was no way I could do that. I was far too pregnant. But they were having a reception back home in suburban Cincinnati, and I went to the bachelorette party like a month before. Oh my God, it was miserable. It was so miserable. And so that's the only time I've been to Cincinnati, even though it's only like 5 hour drive from here. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to the Cincinnati show, and then spend a night at home, and then go up to Milwaukee, and then Chicago, and see the band. And then I get another little week or so off, and then I'm out to Southern California, and I get to see them in Los Angeles. And technically, I could see them 4 times in Southern California, but that seems just ridiculous. They're playing Los Angeles, and then they're playing somewhere in Orange County, which is in the LA metro area, and I have no interest in being in that part of the LA metro area. So for now, I'm saying I'm gonna skip that. And then they're going down to San Diego. I don't want to. I've never been to San Diego. I don't want my first trip to just be run down there and run back. So, skipping those 2 shows, and then going to the tour closer, which is at Pappy and Harriet's, which is out in the desert. It is really close to Joshua Tree National Park. I saw Patti Smith there a year and a half ago. It was incredible. Ran into Patty after the show, just walking to my car. It was an incredible moment. And but yeah, Pappy and Harriet's is a really interesting place. It's outdoors, dirt. I mean, it's dirt. It's a stage set up in what looks like an old bull ring. Um, and it's because it's out in the desert, there's no light pollution. So you're under the stars and can actually see the stars. And it's just this whole desert experience that's so, so cool. Um, and that's closing night of the tour. So that's going to be fun. Doing VIP for one show, which means going to sound check. I'm doing that in Los Angeles. And yeah, I'm so excited because when I did this 2 years ago, it was okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to do the best I can. And my best meant I went to 2 shows out of 3. And I didn't really do anything in Boston because I was too sick. Um, I stayed in the night of the concert, and then my flight out wasn't until the next night. I found a really nice coffee house down like a block away from where I stayed, and I spent an afternoon there drinking coffee and grazing and writing. So I can't complain too much about that. It's not a bad way, but it's not what I intended to do in Boston. So um, I'm excited I finally get to go to Boston. Uh, I'm excited to chase one of my favorite bands. I'm excited to see all my friends that I don't get to see very often, or a bunch of my friends I don't get to see very often, uh, and I'm excited to maybe not be so much at the mercy of my health as I was last time. So I think I'm going to go do my exercises again. I already did around this morning and I'm feeling okay. Not feeling migrainey, so I can go do another set. And each set just puts me a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So, um, yeah. Thanks for all your support. I'll find something to write about this week. I mean, surely something terrible is going to happen in a place that I love, and I can write. No, no, nothing. We need less terrible happening. Uh, yeah, we know. We need less terrible happening. Call your Congress people. If you do nothing else, call your Congress people. Tell them you want ICE out of Minneapolis. Tell them you want Kristi Noem out, impeached. Just start there. It's easy. If you need help, get at me. I'll help you. All right. Love y'all. Bye.